When we rewatch Star Wars Episode 7, is that it? I'm confused. I'm counting now. Star Wars Episode 5. When we rewatch Star Wars Episode 5, Yoda counsels Luke. Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. But in what was it? Episode 3, the same Yoda counsels, train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose. So an argument could be made that this daffy bastard had a problem with both the pulling of avarice as well as the pushing of aversion. And this leads us to a bigger issue, and it's a contentious one, so buckle up. Star Wars, in all its iterations, is not a historical document of a galaxy a long time ago and far, far away. It's not. It's written by people, some wise, some not so wise, some cynical, some idealistic. Few of them are experts in metaphysics. I'm sorry, George, but it's true. George is a filmmaker first and a philosopher second, third, fourth, or perhaps fifth. I love Star Wars. It shaped my life, but I have to take it with a grain of salt. Consider, if you will. Well, here's something to consider. People who want to be spiritual often have no idea of what that is. And they sometimes think that to be spiritual is to have no emotions at all. Consider, if you will, a question I read tonight on Reddit. What opinion has Buddhism on excitement? The individual wrote. For example, is it good to get excited about the exam that we passed, or if we got a better job? So this person's scared that he's going to be a bad Buddhist if he experiences emotion. But wait, there's more. When we watch way back, and I think it was 2002, when I first watched Attack of the Clones, George Lucas directed the actor who played Anakin Skywalker to really play it with a suppressed affect. So consider, if you will, good old Anakin. This kid is the poster boy for CPTSD, for complex post-traumatic stress disorder, because he was raised as a slave and all the violence that entails. Number 2, he entered the Jedi Temple training late in life. Number 3, the Jedi, for whatever reason, chose not to go back and purchase the freedom of his mom, which really would have helped. And in his enthusiasm to be a good Jedi, he did a lot of emotional repression. And he would press as often as he could until he couldn't anymore. Like compressing a whitehead, it's gonna pop. And we saw Anakin pop with the Tusken Warriors. And if that's not the right name, if the right name is Sand People or Tusken Warriors, I apologize. The distinction is a bit elusive to me. But we saw him killing Tusken Raiders, men, women, and children, after the death of his mother in episode 2. And then in episode 3, we saw him, slide into the dark side with the best of intentions. To say Anakin was a mess was an understatement. There were so many things stacked against him. Professional psychologists have diagnosed his character as having CPTSD and consequently exhibiting the symptoms of borderline personality disorder. Blend that with a lot of self-deceit, a lot of bad advice, a lot of emotional repression, and you had a calamity waiting to occur. Let's continue. What if the advice that Anakin received was not great advice? I've been studying English translations of Dzogchen texts for 3 decades. I'm in my 3rd decade of study and practice. And it's easy. It's easy to get jaded and say, dude, these guys got non-duality on the head. It's easy to feel that way until you read, a question like this, is excitement bad? Or until you watch the fruit of Anakin repressing his emotion. Or until you read gems such as let go of everything you fear to lose, or anger leads to hate. With all this stuff bubbling about like a great big witch's cauldron from the first act of, what was it? What was that Shakespearean play about the Moorish? No, not the Moorish. About the Scottish Macbeth. Macbeth. Like the witch's cauldron in the first act of Macbeth. They got all this gurk bubbling about. So let's shed some light on this. When we read the radical teachings of the person who's considered to be the first Dzogchen teacher, known in Odinaya as Prahe Vajra, known in Tibet as Garab Dorje. When we read an English translation of his most fundamental Dzogchen text, something radical is inferred. Whatever emotions we experience, they're just energy. Whether it's a painful emotion, or a pleasurable emotion, or a dynamic emotion, or a peaceful emotion. An emotion is just an emotion. So here's what we do. As we breathe in, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we notice. We don't actively concentrate what we notice. How do we notice? Vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. So we notice what we're feeling, and we don't bother with labels. We could just call it this. We could call it Joyce if we wanted to. We could call it Hildegard. I like the word this. It's monosyllabic and vague. So we experience as we breathe in this, whatever this is. As we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, as we relax into our exhalation, we experience the release of what we're experiencing. We're not shoving it away. We're not flinging it away like we were Vinkman in the second act of Ghostbusters, wiping the slime from the catalog off the books and the stacks. No, we're not doing that. Whatever we notice when we breathe in, external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque, whatever we notice as we breathe in, we acknowledge it. As we relax into our exhalation, we let it go. When something comes, we let it come. If something stays, we let it stay. If something goes, we let it go. Our participation is passive. And if I wanted to be playful, if I wanted to be opaque, I'd say was actively passive or enthusiastically passive. But that's the trick with emotion. In the moment, don't make the mistake I did in my 20s. In my 20s, I was involved with a Christian fundamentalist cult. And I thought, with the utmost of sincerity, I would often lie to myself about what I felt, thinking that I was exercising faith and doing the right thing, not knowing I was doing myself great harm. Don't make the mistake I did in my 20s. Be honest with yourself about what you feel. We can't repent from an emotion. An emotion is neither good nor bad. It just is. So recognize when something comes up, feel what you feel, relax into your exhalation. It is impossible, no matter how angry you feel as you breathe in, we cannot explode in rage and relax at the same time. So it's safe to be vulnerable in our perception. It's safe to relax in our exhalation. This is the path of Vata Yoga. This is the path of Dzogchen. This is the path of the slice through. This is the path of Treksho. It is quick. It is easy. It is sufficient. I would really love to meditate. I look forward to meditating with you in about a minute. First, let's break for housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. If you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as General Leia Organa on Ajahn Kloss under the guidance of Luke Skywalker, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Good news. If at any point during this live stream you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them to your life, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. That chat window could be on the right if you're using a desktop or a laptop, and it could be down below if you're using your smartphone. Together as a team, let's chant the Saturday night excerpt of the oldest Dzogchen text, the vast expanse of Vajrasattva, penned by Garab Dorje, translated into English by Yeshe Donden, both adapted and amplified by yours truly. Let's chant. The energetic radiance of consciousness dwells in all and is the way for all. For those lost in ignorance, confused by obscurations, it is like a medicine in search of a doctor to prescribe what is needed. From within the field of her understanding, bliss arises, revealing the ordinary world as pristinely pure. When lights from all directions come together in one's heart, one realizes omnipresent divinity above, below, and in all directions. From the colors of the rainbow, the primordial families and their qualities all manifest. Compounded moving parts in the uncompounded unmoving base, along with the deities of the five elements that animate creation. Notions like past, present, and future cannot comprehend the nature of the unborn unceasing. In truth, nothing arises, nothing ceases. The wisdom of Source unifies all and dispels any such notions. We make our way now to this evening's practice text, Easy Dzogchen, which is available for free download. Let us chant a concise recitation of bodhicitta and refuge together. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hate, engraving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. And I think it could be fun if I did a quick adjustment here. Bear with me, please. What I'm going to do is break this down into something I like to call triplets. Let's see here. Let's hit bold and standard. Okay, so let's reduce this to 33. This could make the screen go nuts. I will do my best to fix that in just a moment. Okay, the screen is going nuts as suspected. Please bear with me. I'm having some fun with editing. Okay. Okay, so this is what I call triplet chanting. It's really kind of fun. I think it's fun. You might think it's slime. That's okay. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hate, engraving, and clinging. By relying on thee, aha. By relying on the Buddha's. Oh, the joy of editing in real time. Okay, let's try this again. Fourth time is a charm. May I liberate all. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hate, engraving, and clinging. By relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. Now, I'd be surprised if this actually works. Okay. And now let's continue with the concise stuff that is more energizing. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. And at last, now let's meditate, just like we described during class. As we breathe in, we're going to perceive vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly, as silently and mentally we recite the pronoun this. As we exhale, we're going to physically relax and mentally release, as silently and mentally we recite the monosyllabic verb ease. This image is an artist's depiction of what Gaurav Darje might have looked like. Together as a team, let's meditate. And by the way, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, type your question in great detail in the chat window. Let's revisit the opening lecture for a moment. For those who are frightened of experiencing emotion, I would remind them that in the Anapanasati Sutta, the Buddha taught these 7 enlightenment factors. The third is energy, and the fourth is joy. So, we are not only are we allowed to experience energy and joy, they are allotted as tools upon the path of enlightenment. If you have any questions about Buddhist meditation, type them in great detail in the chat window. Let us seal this evening's practice with two very concise chants. May all beings practice have kind communication, conduct, and calmness flow spontaneous and uncontrived. May everyone be free from misery, may everyone be happy. May no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging, freed. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this a thumbs up, you could type something in the chat window, you could help support this channel on Patreon, or you could share this with a friend. In approximately 10 3/4 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early morning meditation class and practice. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.